Hey YouTube, this is your Meow Who Weeps, and I am going to be doing a video on why God is good, why the Almighty is good. Um, so let me just jump right in, I guess. I just woke up just a few minutes ago, so um, bear with me, I guess, maybe, if you want. Okay, why the Almighty is good. First of all, you can look at creation, and you can look at all the intricacies. I just woke up. I told you the variety in nature. You can look around and see. I've heard watching debates and whatnot. I've heard a lot about like the fine tuning argument, where there are so many characteristics of the universe and of what we see around us, of what's here and what's the physical makeup of everything that's so incredibly finely tuned. I've heard that if you stretched a ruler across the size of the universe and you had this measurement, or I can't remember the word, but you have this characteristic for this one quality, say gravity or something, that it was 1 inch on that ruler across the whole universe, and if you moved it 1 inch, that life would not be possible at all, like any life, and like stars and planets wouldn't exist and all this kind of stuff. So it's just very, very finely tuned. And it's very systematized. There's so much in the universe. This is just my observation anyways, that's so systematized and that works so well together, that I think it makes a really strong case for order. And as far as we know, and this could very well be true, we're the center of the universe. Humanity is the center of the universe. And I'm talking as far as life. The planet Earth has lots and lots of life on it. And nowhere else in the universe is life known. They've been trying with, like, I think it's called the SETI project. Can't remember exactly. To find life somewhere else in the universe. Any indication that there's other life in the universe never happened. Now there's all kinds of like science fiction shows and fantasy movies. I call them fantasy because some of the stuff that's in there is not scientifically possible, which makes it fantasy. And the stuff that's scientifically possible and has never happened and may never happen is like science fiction. It's fiction. It's not true. There's been a lot of like movies and shows with aliens and stuff, and I know there's people that have purported to have been abducted by aliens, and I'm not going to go into that right now. There's a good video that I can't remember the name of it, but if I do, I will put a link or something in the bottom of this video to let you know what it is, that you can watch about that, but I'm not going to go into it. But anyways, as far as we know, we are the only, this planet has the only life in the universe, which makes us the center of the universe as far as life goes. Maybe not geographically, but the center life-wise. And if you think about all of the universe and everything that's created, and all of the complexities and the order, that makes us pretty special. So I think that says something about Yahweh's goodness. That this life is so, really humanity is very, very fragile. We can get cut by what? A piece of paper? Paper? Paper can cut us. Paper can cut us. What can shorten our lives? Well, living. That's one thing that shortens your life, is living. Because you're going to die, and it's not going to be too distant in the future. You're not going to like, Oh, and, say maybe 5,000 years I might kill. No, you're gonna die in less than 100 years. That's, in the span of time, that's not real long. I'll get back to that. But, I mean, with how fragile we are, you fall from, say, a height of 30 feet. You can do serious damage. Say you're in a car or in a motorcycle or some kind of automobile. Say you get in an accident going 30 miles an hour. That has the potential to end your life. I'm not talking 70, I'm talking 30. So humans are very fragile, yet we're in this environment. If you look at like all the varieties of food, just things we can eat, there's tons of variety. If you look at the different places we can go and the different places we can learn, I mean, there's like the learning that people are able to gain is phenomenal. I've heard that like our planet is in a position in the universe that is positioned so well to allow for exploration, observation, and learning and finding out more about our universe, where we live. Excuse me. Something is my. What the heck is that? Oh, it's a dog here. Anyways, what was I saying? Goodness. So, I think creation shows that either the creator's good, well, it tends towards showing that he's good. I mean, a couple other possibilities are that he's really deceptive because he wants people to think that he's actually good, or that he's extremely intelligent and powerful, but goodness does not play into that character. Now, I have other reasons why I think those two things are not valid, but I'll get into that. Okay, going on. I have a little list. So the creation is I think one evidence. I think another evidence, if you just look at yourself. Now, of course, you can look at yourself and see how you're made, and the complexity and beauty with which you're made, and the depths there are to you as a person. I mean, that the things that you can think, your personality, what makes you who you are, and also what kind of things do you love. If you love some things that are wrong, why are they wrong? Why are they not good? Because there is goodness. Well, where does goodness come from? I mean, I think many people on this planet know what's good and what's wrong. If you sin and you do wrong, you probably know you're doing wrong, or you have a good sense of it. Now, of course, you can get to where your conscience is so seared that you may not be able to tell right from wrong very well anymore. But I think most of humanity has a pretty good idea. Murdering is wrong. So, in my mind, it's very possible that if the creator was not good, murdering wouldn't be wrong. Other things that people do would not be wrong. Stealing, abuse, theft, fraud, rape, lying, like maliciously saying horrible things about somebody. Why would any of these things be wrong if the creator wasn't good? I mean, again, it's possible. The only things I can see are either he's extremely deceptive, or he's very, very intelligent and just doesn't care, or else he's malevolent in some way. But I'll get back to those. Let's see, what else did I have? Okay, so you have yourself and the things that make up who you are, and the just goodness itself. Well, that's another thing I was gonna get to, but I might as well go into it now. Goodness itself. Why is goodness good? Why is it good? I think that actually testifies that the Almighty is good, because there is goodness, because it exists, and because I think a lot of humanity knows what's good, and some of humanity is able to point it out quicker than others. They're able to say that's mistreatment of another human being. That's wrong. That should not be. War. Why is war wrong? What's wrong with war? You know. Well, you say there's things wrong with it. Well, what about this right and wrong? What about, where is this, goodness and not goodness coming from? Well, it comes from the Creator. Well, where else, if everything comes from the Creator, well, where else could it come from? So, I think goodness itself testifies to the character of the Creator. Then you take, oh yeah, so I was saying yourself, other people. Other people, there are good things about other people. Now, of course, other people can, do wrong things. But there are things, their smile, their personality, how other people, I think many, many people in this world know that it's good and right to do good and right to other people, to have good personal relations with people. So that since the Creator created everyone, why would He create that? I think that's another evidence. Let me see what else I have written down. I wrote some things down. Other people's smiles, goodness, who they are as a person, just the things about them, their personality. Doing good. Oh, enduring wrongs and suffering, I think, is an evidence of goodness. Goodness. Oh, love. Love is an extremely strong evidence. That's one of the clinchers. Since Scripture, now I'm talking the Tanakh, what's commonly called the Old Testament. It's the Tanakh. It stands for Torah, Nebaim, which means prophets or spokesmen, and the Ketuvim, which means the writings. The things that are not the Torah or the Nebaim, which would be like Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Job, Daniel. A lot. These are just considered the writings. And then you have the Brit Hadashah, which means the I think it means the covenant renewed, the new covenant renewed. So according to those scriptures, what was I talking about? Oh man, sorry. I can't remember. That stinks. I thought it was good too. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. According to those scriptures, Yahweh, the Almighty, is love. That's like what He's made of. We're made of like flesh and blood and bones and everything. He's made of love. That's His. Well, I can't say physical. That's His makeup. The makeup of who He is love. What is love? What is it? Well, I think we can say some things to identify it. If someone loves someone else, they will be good to them, they will be kind to them, they will be caring to them, they will be loving to them, even though sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes it's love that goes, you're addicted, so I've got to send you to therapy. I've got to turn you into the authorities so you can get help and so that you can stop hurting other people because I love you. Tough love. So the Almighty is caring and concerned, and love is when you sacrifice for someone else. You know, a parent to their child may sacrifice so that their child can have a better future. They may sacrifice their time and their life, you know, working 2 or 3 jobs so that their child has a better chance at like a good education because they love their child. And you know, the child may just be like, you're never around, but it's a bad situation, and the parent may be doing this because they're like, I don't want you to have the kind of horrible life that I've had. I want you to have a good life. I want you to have a good education. I want you to have a bright future, and that's why I'm doing this. Sacrifice. You know, when soldiers go to war and there's, you know, a grenade or something comes and one soldier jumps on it to save the other soldiers, because that's an act of love. You know, whether he actually loves them or not, that's an act of love. That's sacrifice. That's love. You know, when you see somebody and you smile and you hold the door open for them, that's an act of love. Now, I mean, if you're doing it maliciously in some way and you're being like, I'm doing this to make you feel crappy, that may not be the most loving thing in the world, but a lot of times when when you show kindness to other people, you hold the door, or you know, you speak kind words, you smile, you interact in a a way to promote good relations. That's loving. When Yeshua gave the example of what's commonly known as the Good Samaritan, where the guy, the guy's beaten up and left for dead by robbers, and the Samaritan, who were like hated by the Jews, the Yehudim, comes along and helps the guy out when nobody else would. He helps the guy out and takes care of him, gets him to somewhere where they can start healing him and making sure that he's provided for. That's love. When people work in like soup kitchens or something, feeding homeless people who don't have anything and have lost everything and are just down and out, and nobody cares about them. At least many people don't care about them. That's love. Why is love a good thing? I think it's because that's the way the Creator is. What else was I going to say? Goodness and love. Doing good. Yeah, doing good. I think I kind of get into that. Enduring wrong and suffering. When you... I had more I was going to say about this, but my mind is kind of squashed, so... when you endure wrong and suffering, you are... I wish I could think better. You're testifying to love and you're testifying to goodness. Maybe that's what I was getting at. When somebody else is doing you wrong, and instead of striking out back at them, you endure it, or when things happen to you that you endure, that speaks of love. It speaks of goodness. I know what I'm talking about in my mind. If I can put it into words, that'll be good. Well, I was going to save this, but I'm going to go to it. I think Yeshua is one of the most powerful testaments that our Creator is good. No, I'm going to back up. I'll get back to him. In Bereshit, commonly known as Genesis, when Adam and Hawa, Adam and Eve, when they eat the fruit, they do what Yahweh says not to do. And he says, if you do this, you're going to die. It says in the Hebrew, from my understanding, dying you will die. So you'll start dying, and then eventually you will die. So your deterioration will start. I'm getting really short on time. and then you will die. When that happens, and he's asking him what's going on, and he says, okay, because you've done this, these are going to be some of the effects you're going to have to deal with. Now it's going to be difficult for you. Now, to the woman he says, now when you have children, it's going to be a difficult thing. It's going to be a painful thing. To Adam, he says, now when you're, working the ground and trying to get your food, it's not going to be this wonderful place because I can't have you in this garden anymore, because I can't let you eat from the tree of life like this. Because if you do, then you're going to be, it'll basically be in a damned state. It'll be in a state where you'll be separated from me, and it'll be like that forever if you eat from the tree of life. It is just something that cannot happen, because it won't be good for you. It'd be terrible. So I can't let you be in the garden anymore. You got to get out. Well, when he does this, they cover themselves up with, in the Hebrew, it's like stuff that's close to an excuse. It's stuff that it's these frail little fig leaves that sounds very close to an excuse. Okay? They're not able to cover themselves very well. And before that, they've been covered by the wonderfulness of Yahweh. But since they violated his instructions, they're no longer covered. So what does Yahweh do? He covers them with, in the Hebrew, what's like royal robes. They're covering themselves in shame and in excuses and things that can't cover themselves very well. And pathetic. And he says, no, you're my children. You're getting covered like royalty. Just because you messed up, this has happened according to my plan, because everything happens according to his plan. But he's like, just because you messed up doesn't mean you're not my children. No, you're getting covered in royalty. And I'm going to send somebody to fix this. You're someone that's going to come from you. I don't know if I can't remember if he's speaking to the woman. I know he's speaking to the serpent and rebuking him basically and saying, because you did this, this is going to happen. But as he's talking, he says, someone that's going to come from the woman's body. The woman who's seen as she first ate the fruit and did all this terrible thing. Someone that comes from her body is going to redeem humanity and save humanity, and is going to crush the head of the serpent, the shining one. Okay? So right there, he's covering them like royalty, and he's promising them redemption. And you can go through Scripture and you see this over and over, where he brings bad and distress and not good, like with the children of Israel, where he leads, he has them in Egypt for hundreds of years, and they become slaves, and they have just a terrible life. And then he comes in and he said, now I'm going to show you who I am. I'm rescuing you. And I'm going to show other people who I am too, because I'm going to show them that I am awesome, and the things that they worship and the things that they claim as their powerful authorities are nothing. I'm going to show them that they should place no faith in those things. I am almost out of time for this. I've gone a long time. Okay. I'm going to continue this in the next video. Thank you for watching. But I have a little more to say on this. So, thank you. Shalom. I hope you have a good life, whoever you are. And if you don't watch the second part, I hope you've gotten something out of this. Thank you. Goodbye.